Over the past year or so, Congress has been holding hearings related to the big tech companies, specifically Facebook, Google, Apple, and Amazon. There are many layers to this, but I wanted to look at this from the lens of a third-party Amazon seller. Now, I'm not a legal expert, and I can only give you my opinion based on my experience selling on Amazon and what I've read. And I also don't really have an opinion either way on what happens to Amazon. I just thought I'd present some of the concerns that are being brought up. One thing that shocks small brands who are looking to sell on Amazon is the level of customer interaction that you're allowed to have through the platform. With very few exceptions, you are not allowed to contact the buyer directly. So, for example, if somebody leaves a product review, but in that product review there's a customer support request, well, you actually have no way of addressing that customer support request because they did not contact you directly. They just left it in a product review and you have no way to respond to product reviews. Not only are you not really allowed to contact customers directly, you actually can't even market to them. So say you come out with a new product or you have a promotion. Well, once they bought from you, you have no way of sending them an email announcing your promotion. And you're not even allowed to put your website links on the Amazon listing. So once the customer is within Amazon, you really can't direct them outside of Amazon. I would argue that in many cases, this trade-off would actually be worth it. When you sell on Amazon, typically you're going to get more sales, more revenue, more people buying your product, even if they're not directly registered with you. And even they are going to make some referrals to other people if they like your product enough. And some people just prefer not to be bothered. So, they'd rather purchase through Amazon because they know they're really not going to be bothered by the seller. They just want to buy the product, use it, and be happy and get on with life. I don't see this as an antitrust issue in and of itself. If you go to CVS and you buy a bottle of Listerine, there is no way for Listerine to contact you unless you go to their website and sign up for whatever mailing list they have. So the issue itself is not an antitrust issue, but the fact that Amazon is trying to own the customer relationship is going to lend itself to the problematic aspect of the next two issues that I'm going to talk about. So the first real antitrust issue I want to talk about is Amazon copying products and then putting them on the marketplace under their own name brand, often for cheaper than the original brand name. Now, Amazon knows a lot about your product. They know who your customers are. They know how many units you're selling. And in many cases, they even know the exact factory that's making your product because you had to go through a safety verification when you signed up for the platform. Offering generic products is not necessarily the problem in and of itself. If you go to Target or you go to CVS, right next to the name brand Listerine, there's going to be their own house brand that's clearly intended to be a copy of the original product. The problem is that when Amazon makes these generic products, they often offer it for a cheaper price, and some people claim that they actually promote their new product over your product. So they're actually putting their product higher in the marketplace when you search for the product. In a way, you might consider this as Amazon using third-party sellers to test the market. And then when they see products that are successful, what they'll do is they'll go make their own product, have a higher profit margin, and then cut out the middleman. The other area where this could be problematic is with intellectual property, especially patents. If you have a patent for your product, but Amazon goes and makes a generic version of your product, if Amazon is in violation of your IP, well, they're so big that it would be difficult and costly to try to fight them on it. And some companies that try to go fight bigger companies on their patents actually end up going out of business because they can't afford the legal fees. Even though Amazon claims that they have policies in place that prevent them from using third-party seller data to make new products under their own brand, a recent Wall Street Journal investigation claims that this is not the case. And even if we were to give Amazon the benefit of the doubt here and go on their word that they don't use this private data, they can actually look at publicly available data like the best sellers rank, which is a public number listed on every listing that shows how well it's doing compared to other products in the catalog. So of course they're going to figure out which products are the top sellers and then try to cut out the middleman. So not only does Amazon have a leg up over you because they own the customer relationship with their own products and your product, and you don't own the customer relationship with your own product, but they may also be using privately available data to figure out which products to make under their own brand and cut you out of the whole equation. Many people have gotten burned by counterfeit and potentially even unsafe products being sold on Amazon. And in a way, I think this tarnishes Amazon's reputation. In my own experience, there are certain things that I don't buy on Amazon, like camera equipment. The thing is with Amazon, sometimes there's uncertainty of whether you're going to get the real product or a gray market product, whether the company is going to honor the warranty when you bought it on Amazon. And, I go to sites like B&H, they have the product for the same price, and often they even ship faster than Amazon does. So it doesn't make sense for me to take a gamble when I can know I'm going to get good customer service and have a good experience by going to another vendor. To be fair to Amazon, though, it is going to be really difficult to police millions of products to make sure every single item is the legit product and that it's safe. So Amazon prefers to take a more laissez-faire approach where they allow customers to buy the product, and then if there are enough defect claims or enough bad reviews, then they'll address the issue. So it kind of sucks for the people who buy the product and take the risk, but Amazon does have a pretty generous return and refund policy, so they figure it all balances out in the long run. But the problem that the lawmakers have is that this is very one-sided. Remember that Amazon is trying to own the customer relationship and the third-party seller really doesn't own the customer relationship. Well, the lawmakers are essentially saying that if Amazon is trying to own the customer relationship, they also have to own much more of the liability for the products being sold on their platform. And that is the problem. So with all that being said, does the customer win? Basic economic theory would tell you that cheaper prices are better for the consumer. And indeed, more of us have more access to more stuff, and we have technologies that not even kings had just a couple decades ago. So in many ways, this low price and access to many products is a win for the customer. So on the surface, this is great for the consumer. Low prices, an easy place to buy it, and if you don't like the product, you can easily return it or get a refund. But I think there are two small problems with this argument. The first is that when you sell prices at such a low price, you actually squeeze innovation out of the market. A great example of this is LED lighting. LED lighting, for the most part, is so cheap now that a lot of the companies making them can't stay in business or are really struggling to survive because those profit margins are so tiny. So the problem is, they have to focus their efforts on staying afloat or innovation, and I think they're going to put their efforts into staying afloat first before they come and develop the next thing. So in the long run, the consumer actually loses out because they're not getting access to the innovation that would have happened if they had to pay a slightly higher price. The second problem is that with Amazon taking a larger and larger share of the pie, it could actually be harder for a lot of people to do business and hurt the economy of the whole. It's like a rich getting richer type of scenario. However, I would say that this is a bit of a double-edged sword because the Amazon marketplace has enabled more business opportunities for many people. But there is a balance that has to be struck, and I think that's the point of this investigation and inquiry into a potential antitrust case. Again, I don't have a strong opinion on what I think should happen with Amazon. I think business leaders have to adapt no matter what circumstances they're given, and this is no different. However, I would say that this is an interesting topic to pay attention to because it may affect how selling on Amazon happens in the future, whether that's for the better or for the worse. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.